welcome to my channel. My name is Franca and I'm glad you're here. Today we're working on our next spread. I'm very motivated to do this reading journal so far, so I'm super excited. I do really want to get into like the specific book pages because I have so many ideas. I also am so excited to finally actually use my Cricut, although I need to watch videos on how to use it. So if you have any tips for using Cricut, let me know, because I really want to do those like book cover stickers. So fingers crossed that works out. Obviously I had my inspo pick for this page up. I am slightly altering it because I don't have any reading goals. There's no goals, there's nothing I like particularly want to do. So also, this is for my 2024 and 2025 reading because I really wanted to make one of these and I finally worked up the courage to do it. But, so basically this page is going to be an envelope with a little paper sticking out, and instead of my reading goals, I'm going to have my reading star rating system and like how I rate, which looking back at all the books I rated, I fear my system isn't that well. I feel like I kind of just base it off vibes pretty much. But yeah, I don't know, maybe looking back on these, maybe I'll do a video where I like go through all the books I've read and see if any of them have changed now that I've read more books. Especially in 2024, it was my first like full year reading again, and I fear I might have scored some books a little too high just because I had like nothing to base it off of. So I do fear I was a little bit on the higher side in 2024. This page took me a significantly less amount of time, and I fear that's because I didn't film all of it. I feel like everything just takes so long, especially like the counting part, and here you can just see me doing like the outline for the page. So I wonder if next time, if I like outline it off camera and then just color it in on camera, if that will also make these videos a little bit shorter. I personally like the long videos, like I like seeing every aspect of it, so that's why I keep filming them longer. But the only part I don't like is editing, if you can't tell. I don't edit anything from like these videos. I think I edited a little bit in this video, just like because I turned my camera off too late. But yeah, you can see me attempting to draw stars, and they didn't look very good. They did not look very good at all. And then I remembered that this book came with stencils. Oh my god, with stencils. And I was like, oh my god, I forgot about those. I was like, I wonder if they have a star on there. Or like something that I could use as like a star rating thing. Also, I love how shaky my entire desk gets when I erase something. Like, I feel like if you move too hard, and maybe that's just because it's not the best built desk. As you can see, all the stains on the top. What is that from? I literally don't know. But here's me looking at the stencils. I didn't know it came with the stencils. Now, they did have a star, and they had 3 different options for stars, but I thought this one was cute with kind of like the rounded edges, so I did that one. But back to my tangent, what was I saying? Yeah, but these stains, don't know what they are. I also feel like it's not as stable as it should be. Like, what do you mean it shakes so wildly when I erase something? But I also feel like if you move a little too much, like, it shakes. So maybe I need a new desk eventually. This one's been through a lot, clearly. I don't know what, I literally couldn't tell you what those stains are. They bother me so much, but like, I don't know what it's from. But like, cause it's not like a colored stain, it's just like a gray stain. I don't know. Maybe I spilled like a drink on it or something, and it like soaked through like wood. I guess I think this is made out of wood. But that's besides the point. We're coloring right now. So I'm just doing my like tier stack of stars. I also fear that I thought a lot of the books I feel like are 3 stars that I've read, which basically are just like my, yes, it was a book. It deserved to be a book. I was interested, but it wasn't like my fave, You know what I mean? Like, it wasn't like it made me want to keep reading, if that makes sense. Nothing wrong with the 3-star book, in my opinion. 3-star is like the baseline in my head. Like, 3-star is good, but it could be better. And for me, 4-star is like, oh my god, I love this, but it was like maybe missing 1 or 2 things for me. Which, now that I think about it, I fear that most books end up in 3 stars, and then I just kind of skip 4 stars. I feel like I just automatically give books 5. 5 is like, oh my god, I absolutely loved it. Like, I wish I had written this myself. I also feel like sometimes books get 5 stars for me if they have like a cool concept and the writing's really good. I do prefer more descriptive writing. Here you can see me trying to make like one of those like embossing things to like hold the letter. I tried to do hearts, but they didn't like attach, if that makes sense. So then I decided to do a snowflake because winter is coming and I'm so excited for snow. What stars did I miss? 2 stars? 2 stars is more so it wasn't a book for me. Like, it wasn't terrible, but it wasn't for me and I didn't like it. And I might not be the target audience for this book. And 1 star is, oh my god, why was this even created? I hated it. I hated every moment of it. There was nothing good in this book. I hated every single moment of reading this. I personally don't DNF books, which I feel like a lot of people hate. When people don't DNF books because they feel like they're wasting time. I feel like to know a good book, you have to read a bunch of bad books as well. Like, you can't just only read good books. Because then I feel like you don't get the full grasp of things. And especially as someone who likes writing, I feel like you need to read a mix of good and bad books. And sometimes there's books you read and you think it's going to be amazing based on the synopsis and like what people have said about it, and then you read it and you personally hate it. I feel like you learn a lot through reading. So that is why I don't DNF books. I also like to hope that they magically become better. That is my hope. That if I keep reading it, near the end, it'll magically get better. It never does. It really, truly never does. But it is a hope that I have that they magically get better. So basically, I'm just writing like tiny little, I guess, phrases of my rating system. I don't even know what the heck I wrote, and I can't even read it while I'm watching this because I'm writing sideways. I've always written like this, but I feel like the more I write like this and like film it, I feel like I'm crazy. But I know so many people write like this. I don't know what is so satisfying about like turning the page and writing sideways. For filming purposes, I don't think it's very helpful because this looks crazy. But when I'm writing, I just feel like I gravitate towards writing sideways. But it's not really sideways because the way my hand's positioned, I feel like it's straight up and down, but I just like looking at the page sideways. Now you can see I'm going to start doing all these little boxes, and this took a really long time. But I needed like 126 basically for all the books I've read this year, or this year and last year. Clearly I haven't read all of them, so I kind of just colored in the ones that I have done. I don't know why I thought in 2024 I read 75 books, so I did do some extra, because clearly I can't freaking count. So that was fun, but now that I think about it, my other page, my bookshelf page, is also messed up now, because I cannot count. So clearly numbers are not my strong suit. Also, this one I didn't do at like 4 a.m. in the morning. I'm filming it today and I am uploading it today. So I feel like I was paying attention a little bit more, but clearly I wasn't paying attention enough. Because when I went to go like look at my book reads and like see the star ratings so I could color in these squares, I was like, oh my god, I literally can't count. But I won't torture you with showing you all the squares, so I will cut this clip short for you guys, and then they will just magically appear, and you will be so surprised. The outline for this page was actually pretty easy just because it was basically just one side was literally just a bunch of squares. Was it tedious and a little bit time consuming? Yes, but obviously I just put on a video and listened. Obviously it was book drama. I feel like I've been very invested in listening to like book drama recently. Um, just because I realized there's channels that are solely dedicated to doing like long form content about book drama. So I feel like I've definitely gotten into the hang of listening to that and learning a little bit more about the drama that has happened on the book community. Um, yeah, basically now I'm just coloring everything in. And it does take a while. I feel like this is one of my favorite colors from this Ohuhu water marker brush set. Hopefully I said that right. I also think I think this is number 19, I want to say. And then I also think number 133, that blue, is probably one of my faves too. I used both of these to do like the awning in my first page of this book. Um, but yeah, overall, this was super fun, super quick, super easy. I still haven't, as you can tell, figured out how to not make them so streaky, but I fear that is something that will never happen. I fear that it is a lost cause, and now I'm just attempting to make the, what's it called? I don't even know what I was saying. I don't know where I was going with that. I am going to cut this clip a little short just because it's me literally coloring this entire pages. And going around the stars was a little time consuming. But we're just gonna fast forward because this video should feel quick and easy because these two pages were quick and easy for me. So let's speed it up and do some movie magic. Ta-da! Now you can keep a little teensy tiny bit of your sanity. Here I go coloring in the little snowflake. I was gonna say flower. It's a snowflake. The stencil was actually pretty hard to do just because some of the little, like, the little outside of the snowflakes, I don't know what, like, the parts of a snowflake, I don't know what you would call that, but those were a little hard just because they were so tiny. And I was also scared that when I went to go outline that like it would bleed together. And now you can see, here's where I made my mistake. I decided I was just going to color all the stars yellow, but I forgot that I wanted to color them. I wanted to get like a color palette and color them so that you could see what the colors on the books on the other sides were, and I wouldn't have to like explain it. But here's where I made my mistake because I forgot I wanted to do that and decided I was just going to color all the stars yellow. So all the stars are yellow, and I don't notice this oh my god, I don't notice this mistake till after, so then I just had to add some squares at the bottom of the envelope and call it a day, which I don't really like, but a girly messed up. A girly had to find a solution to fix that. I do think it would have looked better if I actually color coded the stars, and it would have saved me some space, and it would have made the envelope look a little bit prettier, but hindsight is 2020. um, I think I spent too much time trying to pick the colors I wanted. I did try and stick to the same color palette as the last page and picked some pinky kind of colors, but I didn't pick like the browns as much, so I did switch out some colors, and I got rid of like the gray green colors, so it's pretty much just like pink and orange colors, which I don't mind. I love the like muted kind of colors. Here you see me doing my squares because I realized I messed up after I colored in all the freaking stars. Yep, I couldn't have figured it in like the first star in. Nope, I had to figure it out at the end. So now we're basically just going to be coloring in the envelope, and for the sake of not torturing you guys, I will also speed up the envelope because it's just such a large surface to cover, and I feel like that's what makes the videos really long, is when I'm coloring in big sections, just because it does take quite some time. So I will speed this up for you, and we will just look at the finished product. Alrighty, that cut us down some time. Now I'm outlining, and I used the thickest micron pen to outline. I don't even know if that's what they're called. Are they called Sakura pens? I don't know what brand this is. There's so many names, I don't know. But this is one that was recommended on Amazon, and it's supposed to be a good like outline pen. I do really like it. I do really like it. I am using the thickest one just because I just want to cover all of my pencil lines. Mind you, did I do a very good job? Not really. Not really, not at all. I don't think I did an amazing job. But I didn't do that bad either. I feel like when I got to the squares more so, those turned out a little bit more wonky just because I had colored outside the lines of some of them. I cannot color inside the lines to save my life. So, but I also sometimes I feel like I was doing them too far and I didn't color enough. And then there was white spots. So, I can never win is what I'm gauging from this. But yeah, basically I just outlined literally everything I did on that page. I outlined, oh, also look at that. Every time I looked at the word worst, I was like, there's something wrong with it and I can't figure it out and it hurts my eyes and it looks stupid. Mind you, the whole time it was because I capitalized the T at the end. I kind of like the way words look when every word, like every new word is capitalized. And that's just a personal preference. I know that's not like properly how things are supposed to go, but I tend to prefer it a little bit more when I like write things. Clearly if I was writing a book, that's a no-go. But if I'm writing for myself, I prefer when the first word like jumps out at you, because then you know it's a new word. But yeah, I couldn't figure out what was wrong with it, and it's because I capitalized the T. And lucky I caught it before I did the micron pen, because then it would have looked so dumb and it would have bothered me forever. And I feel like these kind of little mistakes are the kind of things that like make me scared to do these things. Because if I had gone over that T while it was capitalized, I would have hated this page and I would have been like, oh my god, I have to start the whole book over again. And I feel like in that kind of way, I'm a little bit of a perfectionist just because like, oh my god, like I have to do it right. Like if it's messed up, I have to start all over again. Especially when it comes to writing, I fear that I am terrible at spelling. I spell things wrong all the time. And I don't know what it is, but like I cannot, there's some words that, like, every time I go to write them, like, I know they're wrong. Like, I know they're wrong because I never write them properly. Like, pieces, the I and the E, they're always in different spots every single time. Like, I can never figure out which one the correct spelling is. Another word, awkward, I think it is. Awkward, no, it's not awkward. There's one of those words. Oh, answer. It's answer. I can never remember the right spelling for answer, and I always spell it wrong, and then I'm like, ugh, I should have known that. It doesn't matter how many times I spell the word wrong, I will never get it. And another word, I think there's another one, surprise. I never spell that properly, and I feel like it's not a hard word, but I can just never remember what the proper spelling is, and then I spell it wrong, and I'm like, I know that's wrong, I just can't tell you what the proper spelling is. So I do feel like maybe I'm a little bit dyslexic. I haven't been like tested or anything, but also another thing I do, literally, every time I go to say but, I put, and then I always mix those two up. And like I know what I'm trying to say, but I still use the wrong one, and it's very obvious. So I fear I might be dyslexic. So that's a fun little fact about me, I guess. I feel like I should maybe go get tested. I have no idea where you get tested for these kind of things, but I feel like I wouldn't want to do one online. But yeah, I feel like maybe I should, because let me know. Do you guys think those those examples might be an undiagnosed dyslexia kind of thing, or am I just dumb? Because it could be that too. Okay, I'm going to speed this up for you, and we're going to move on to the next page, hopefully. Now I've started the task of meticulously going through my Goodreads and figuring out what stars I gave things, but I feel like I messed this up a little. I think that none of them are in order. So I don't like that as much because as I was going through them, I was finding some books coming up a little too high in the list, and they're not like really in an order of when I read them, and I'm not sure what happened because I thought that they're based on the date I put them up, and um I'm not sure what went wrong here. If I'm being 100% honest, I'm not sure. Also, I found books in here that I've quote unquote marked as read that I haven't read yet because they have no rating and no like start end date. So I think maybe I was just misclicking things. But also now that has me thinking like, did I mess up my like 2025 reading thing by accidentally putting those on there? I'm not sure, and I feel like maybe I need to go through and like actually fix my reading thing on Goodreads and like make sure books are in the order of when I read them. But I feel like that's going to be a tedious process, but I think it is something I need to do just because it bothers me that they're not in order, and when I look at them, they're not in, I don't know how I would fix that. I don't know if that would ruin like my reading thing or anything like that. But also some of the books like before I got Goodreads in 2024, the books didn't have start and end dates because I read them prior to getting Goodreads. So I fear I'd have to go through all my videos and figure out when I actually read books. And I fear that might take a really long time. So I'm debating doing it. I did take those books that weren't supposed to be there out, but I don't know if that will change my reading for 2025. I don't know when I added them in, but I think maybe we do like a full revamp of my Goodreads. But I swear I already did that, so I guess maybe I like messed up while I was doing that. I don't know. But I think maybe we just start over from scratch and like fix everything from the ground up. Um, I think that's the strategy I have to go with just because it was so messed up and I was like, what is going on? But yeah, that's basically where I went wrong. And the second mistake I met, oh my god, the second mistake I made while reading, oh my god, I cannot talk today. And mind you, it's like 4 p.m. What do you mean? It's not like early in the morning. But, what was I even saying? I'm going on like a side tangent now. I don't even remember what I was saying. There's no point. Let me collect myself and I'll be back. Okay, so I sped it up a little bit because clearly talking is not my strong suit today. um, so I'm still coloring them in. I feel like I have a nice little mix. I feel like maybe you can't really tell the 4 and 5 color apart from here. There was a lot of 5-star books going on over here. There was also a lot of 3s, but I feel like looking back on it, I can't remember like giving some of these books their like scores. So it was pretty fun to like go through and see books that I read last year and what I gave them. Because I feel like I remember the 5-star books, but like anything other than a 5-star, I feel like I've just like completely forgotten out of my head. Another thing is I feel like series, I typically gave them 5 stars. Like if I really liked the series, I gave all of them 5 stars. And I fear maybe that's not how it should go. But I feel like series, I take into account the book before, whereas for standalones, you kind of don't have much to go off of. But yeah, I fear maybe I need to look into my like reading stat system or whatever you want to call it. Um, there wasn't too many like 1 or 2 stars, but I fear with the books I have left to read on my TBR, there might be a lot more 1 or 2 stars because there's some that I've heard like pretty bad things about, or there's some that I have from authors that I've already read that I have given low scores to. So I'm not particularly like, I feel like going into it, I know what the writing's gonna be like, and I'm probably not gonna like it as much. But with that said, this is the end of this video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, feel free to like and comment down below. If you didn't, feel free to leave a hate comment. And here are my finished pages so far. See you tomorrow.